Welcome to the Numis Hunter, the ultimate destination for every passionate coin lover, collector, and treasure seeker who believes that even the smallest coin in your pocket could hide a fortune beyond imagination. And today we dive deep into one of the most astonishing stories in the world of numismatics. The tale of the 1982D 1-cent coin that shook the entire coin collecting community because of its unbelievable value. A coin that looks so ordinary at first glance yet is estimated to be worth a jaw-dropping $31 million, making it one of the most expensive and fascinating error coins in history. A coin that proves mistakes at the mint can turn an everyday penny into a life-changing treasure. The story of the 1982D 1-cent coin begins in a year of transition, a period when the United States Mint made one of the biggest material changes in its coinage history. 1982 was the year when the composition of the Lincoln cent was switched from 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin to a much cheaper composition of copper-plated zinc because the rising cost of copper had made it more expensive to mint a penny than its own face value. This change may sound simple, but it introduced a series of unexpected complications, confusions, and rare errors that led to the birth of some of the most valuable modern pennies ever discovered. And among them stands the legendary 1982D small-date copper penny that defied the mint's intention and became a multi-million-dollar miracle. Normally, all 1982D pennies were supposed to be struck on zinc planchets weighing about 2.5 grams. Yet due to transitional errors of the Denver Mint, a few coins were mistakenly struck on the old copper planchets that weighed around 3.1 grams, creating an incredibly rare mix of features that should not exist. To understand how valuable such an error can be, imagine this. Millions of coins produced that year were a combination of large-date and small-date varieties in both copper and zinc compositions, resulting in 8 major known types, but only one specific combination. The 1982D small-date copper penny was never supposed to exist according to official records. This means that when even a single coin of this kind surfaced, it instantly became a numismatic legend because it represents a physical contradiction to the mint's documented production process. The known 1982D small-date copper cent, discovered, weighed 3.1 grams and bore the small-date design, a combination that should have been impossible, which means it was struck on the wrong metal blank at the wrong time. This type of transitional error is what collectors call a wrong planchet strike. And such coins often fetch enormous sums because they capture a 1 in a billion mistake that slipped past the strict minting controls. The Denver Mint was not expected to use any copper planchets that year, as they had all transitioned to zinc, so finding a Denver minted coin that still has a copper composition means a leftover copper blank from the earlier batch was accidentally fed into the coining press, creating a coin that bridges 2 distinct eras of U.S. coinage history in one piece of metal. But that's not all that makes it special. The 1982D small-date copper cent not only has a composition error, but also shows subtle details that fascinate collectors even more, such as minute differences in the number formation of the date, the thickness of the digits, and the height of the 2 compared to the 8 in the year. Small artistic variations that help experts distinguish the small-date variety from the large-date version. When these tiny design elements combine with the wrong planchet composition, the result is an ultra-rare coin that collectors are willing to pay millions for because it exists in defiance of mint history itself. What's even more intriguing is that the coin remained undiscovered for decades, hiding in circulation unnoticed, possibly passing through countless hands, vending machines, and cash registers until a lucky collector weighed it and realized its composition did not match any documented mint specification for a 1982D small-date cent. The coin was later verified by professional grading services like PCGS, confirming it as a genuine mint error and one of the most extraordinary transitional error cents ever authenticated. Experts believe there could be only 1 or 2 of these coins in existence, which is what drives its astronomical value. In the world of rare coins, rarity and demand dictate price, and when both reach extreme levels, the result is a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. The 1982D small-date copper penny, valued at over $31 million, has become the holy grail of Lincoln cents, often compared to the 1943 copper penny and the 1955 double-die penny, both of which are legendary among collectors. What's so mesmerizing about the 1982 cent is that it reflects human error at its most valuable, an accidental overlap of old and new production materials, an unintentional blend of two timelines, captured forever in copper. Collectors and historians speculate on how such an error could have occurred despite the mint's strict quality control. One possibility is that leftover copper planchets were mistakenly stored or mixed into a bin of zinc planchets, leading to a handful of copper strikes before the mistake was caught. Another theory suggests that during the experimental phase of transitioning compositions, test strikes were performed using various planchets, and some were unintentionally released into general production. Either way, this coin's existence proves that even in one of the most advanced minting systems in the world, absolute perfection is nearly impossible, and that small oversight has now turned into a fortune. What makes this story even more captivating is that thousands of collectors across the country have since begun weighing their 1982 pennies, hoping to find another one of these mythical errors. And while many have found interesting variations, no other verified 1982D small date copper cent of the same specification has surfaced, reinforcing its status as a one-of-a-kind treasure. The coin's legend has inspired documentaries, expert discussions, and online treasure hunts where people use digital scales to weigh their old pennies, hoping to strike gold with copper. The fascination around this coin also teaches valuable lessons about how coin production works. Each U.S. cent starts as a blank metal disc known as a planchet. These planchets are struck under immense pressure by dies carrying the design, date, and mint mark. During normal operations, errors are rare because machinery and human oversight catch irregularities quickly. But transitional years like 1982 were full of confusion as the mint shifted between materials, designs, and dies, creating fertile ground for minting mistakes. The introduction of the zinc planchet with a thin copper coating made the pennies lighter, changing their weight from 3.1 grams to 2.5 grams. So one of the easiest ways for collectors to distinguish a copper penny from a zinc one is to weigh it. The difference of 0.6 grams may seem tiny, but it's the clue that separates a common cent from a multi-million-dollar one. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks exactly like every other penny, but feels just a bit heavier. And that small detail could mean the difference between 1 cent and $31 million. The emotional impact of discovering such a coin is beyond words. It's the kind of life-changing moment every collector dreams of. Many experts also believe that the 1982D small date copper cent may have even more hidden variations or companion errors, such as die polishing marks, minor doubling on the lettering, or slight planchet imperfections that further authenticate its uniqueness. Each microscopic feature on the coin adds another layer to its story, making it not just a piece of currency, but a historical artifact frozen in time. Another interesting fact is how the 1982 transition also produced confusion among coin collectors and mint employees regarding the date styles. The small date design has a thinner, more delicate font with the 2 sitting higher than the 8, while the large date has thicker numbers and more even alignment. These artistic details matter greatly in identification because they prove which dies were used during striking. Combining this with a copper planchet creates a combination that should not logically exist. This paradox is what makes numismatics so fascinating. Sometimes the smallest detail tells the biggest story. The 1982D copper cent is also a symbol of how technological limitations and human oversight can merge into unintentional brilliance. Despite sophisticated minting machines, no system is perfect, and when errors slip through, they become historical treasures. Next, 1981 Lincoln penny, the year when one seemingly ordinary Lincoln cent shocked the entire world of numismatics by being valued at an astonishing $11 million. Not because of gold or silver, but because of rare minting errors, transitional oddities, and a series of mistakes that transformed a simple 1-cent coin into one of the most extraordinary treasures in coin collecting history. The 1981 1 cent is famous not for its face value, but for what hides within its metal composition and minting characteristics. Because that year was the final full year of the traditional copper-based Lincoln cents before the historic transition to zinc-plated coins in 1982. This period of transition meant that the U.S. Mint was making countless preparations, testing new materials, retooling equipment, and replacing old dies, creating the perfect conditions for errors to occur. And when mistakes happen during such transitional times, collectors know that they can lead to the birth of legends. The 1981 Lincoln cent, struck primarily in 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, was supposed to be one of the last of its kind before the U.S. Mint changed its formula to copper-plated zinc. However, a few mysterious specimens have surfaced showing that not all 1981 cents were identical. Some appear to have been struck on experimental planchets or contain unusual die varieties, doubling, or transitional metal characteristics, making them incredibly valuable. The most famous among them is the rumored 1981 transitional error struck on an early zinc planchet intended for 1982 production, but mistakenly used in 1981 testing. Such coins weigh about 2.5 grams instead of the normal 3.1 grams, and this seemingly small difference in weight changes everything. A coin that was never supposed to exist, struck from the wrong material, becomes a rare treasure that collectors dream about. The rare 1981 cent that reportedly sold for $11 million is believed to have multiple combined errors, which is what makes it so special. It's not just one mistake. It's a chain of rare coincidences all occurring on the same coin. First, the composition error, where it was struck on a zinc planchet before official minting of zinc pennies began. Second, there are strong indications of doubling on the obverse side, particularly visible on the date, 1981, and the word Liberty, where a clear double die effect gives the letters and numbers a shadow-like appearance, making it distinct from regular coins. Doubling errors are highly sought after because they occur when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned or shifts slightly between impressions, creating a ghost-like duplication of details. When such doubling happens on the date or inscriptions, it instantly raises collector interest. But this coin goes further. Experts have reported additional striking irregularities like misaligned dies, slight off-centering, and uneven thickness across its rim, suggesting a production anomaly at the minting press. When multiple errors combine, composition error, double die, and striking irregularities, it creates a coin unlike any other, and rarity is the soul of numismatic value. No other known 1981 cent has been verified with the exact same combination of anomalies, making it a true one-of-a-kind specimen, which explains why collectors and auction houses estimate its value in the millions. The history behind the 1981 penny is also fascinating because it represents the end of an era. It was the last year that all U.S. 1-cent coins were officially made of solid copper before the 1982 changeover. As a result, minting facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco were experimenting with new processes, dyes, and even metal formulations in preparation for the upcoming change. Some of these experimental blanks or planchets may have accidentally been used earlier than scheduled, explaining how 1981 coin could have been struck on zinc or an alloy mixture not typical of that year. Transitional errors like these have always fascinated collectors, similar to the 1943 copper penny or the 1944 steel cent. Coins that were struck during metal composition shifts in wartime and became incredibly valuable because of their accidental existence. The 1981 1-cent transitional error follows the same logic, existing as a bridge between the copper and zinc eras. Furthermore, advanced metallurgical analysis has revealed trace elements in some 1981 cents inconsistent with the official mint composition, suggesting that a few batches might have been struck from leftover or experimental blanks, adding more mystery to the story. In addition to metal and doubling errors, experts have found that certain 1981 coins show abnormal die deterioration and overpolishing marks that create a ghostly appearance on Lincoln's bust and the inscriptions, making the coin visually striking and unique. These subtle imperfections add artistic character and further authenticate its origin as a mint error rather than post-mint damage. Each irregularity tells a story about the pressure, temperature, and manual handling that occurred during minting. When all these elements align, they produce something not only rare, but historically significant. The 1981 error cent's value also skyrocketed due to the combination of rarity, provenance, and collector frenzy. Coins like these often appear in private collections or auctions, where intense bidding drives prices higher, especially when certified by trusted grading authorities like PCGS or NGC. A genuine mint error of such nature, authenticated and encapsulated in mint state condition, can easily command millions because it's not just a coin, it's a mistake that can never be repeated. What also drives the 1981 cent's value is its mystery. Unlike many documented mint errors, the U.S. Mint has never officially acknowledged the existence of an experimental 1981 zinc strike, leaving collectors to debate and speculate for decades. This ambiguity adds allure, turning the coin into an unsolved riddle in the numismatic world. Each time such a coin surfaces, it renews the excitement of treasure hunting among collectors who begin checking their old pennies with digital scales and magnifying glasses, hoping to find another. Even though the chances are 1 in hundreds of millions, the thrill of possibly holding an $11 million penny in your hand keeps the dream alive. Another remarkable aspect of the 1981 cent story is how such a tiny, common object could hold such immense historical and financial power. It reminds us that the smallest details can hide unimaginable worth. A minuscule difference in weight, a faint doubling of letters, a barely noticeable rim misalignment. All of these could transform a humble penny into an artifact of national heritage. The 1981 error penny represents the intersection of art, science, and human error. The artistry of coin design, the science of metallurgy, and the unpredictability of human oversight combine to create something priceless. Every mark and mistake on that coin becomes a clue in the mystery of its creation, turning it into an object of endless fascination. For coin enthusiasts, the 1981 cent story isn't just about money. It's about history. It's about how a moment of imperfection during a shift in technology gave birth to a coin that defies logic and expectation. Imagine the mint worker who struck that coin having no idea that the piece of metal rolling off the press would someday be worth millions. It could have easily been spent on a piece of candy or tossed in a piggy bank, only to resurface decades later as a multi-million-dollar treasure. That sense of unpredictability makes coin collecting so addictive. The 1981 cent also serves as a lesson in attention to detail. Many collectors overlook small differences in coins, but seasoned numismatists know that every variation could hold a story. Whether it's a faint die crack, a planchet flaw, or a variation in font thickness, each anomaly is a potential key to value. The $11 million 1981 cent teaches us that careful observation, knowledge, and patience can turn curiosity into fortune. It also demonstrates how numismatic history is full of surprises. Every year, new discoveries rewrite what we thought we knew about coins. The 1981 cent, with its mysterious combination of transitional composition and striking errors, stands as one of those discoveries that challenge official records and expand our understanding of minting history. Its existence proves that even in a controlled industrial environment like the U.S. Mint, mistakes happen, and sometimes those mistakes become masterpieces. Collectors worldwide continue to hunt for another example, weighing their old coins, studying their details, and hoping lightning will strike twice. But so far, this one stands alone, a singular masterpiece of error and luck, a coin whose story is as valuable as its price. Next, 1997 D Lincoln Penny. Today we're diving into one of the most astonishing tales in modern numismatics. The unbelievable case of the 1997 D Lincoln 1-cent coin that's worth an incredible $8 million because of the rare and fascinating minting errors that transformed an ordinary penny into a numismatic masterpiece. This tiny coin, minted in Denver during a time when technology was supposed to have perfected the minting process, proves that even in the age of precision machinery, mistakes can still slip through, creating coins so rare and unique that collectors will pay millions to own them. The story of a 1997 D penny starts like any other coin minted that year, with billions produced at the Denver Mint, but somewhere during that massive production process, a few coins emerged that defied all logic. Coins with composition inconsistencies, striking anomalies, and die misalignments that together created a 1 in a billion piece of history. Experts and collectors have identified that one particular 1997 D cent, which reportedly sold for $8 million in a private collector's transaction, combines multiple minting errors that make it not just rare, but essentially irreplaceable. Normally, 1997 cents are made from copper-plated zinc, weighing about 2.5 grams, with sharp details and uniform coloration, but the rare error version displays a series of peculiar characteristics that set it apart. The most prominent error is believed to be a double die obverse, where the die used to stamp the coin shifted slightly between strikes, causing visible doubling on the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1997. This doubling effect gives the coin a shadowed or ghosted appearance, which is one of the most sought-after minting errors among collectors because it represents a mechanical malfunction that can never be exactly repeated. The second critical error lies in the planchet, the blank metal disc from which the coin is struck. Instead of being the standard zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper, the $8 million 1997 D penny was discovered to have a thicker copper coating or possibly even a full copper planchet left over from earlier experimental strikes. Its weight, measured at 3.1 grams, matches that of pre-1982 copper pennies, which should have been impossible 15 years after the U.S. Mint transitioned fully to zinc. This suggests that an old copper planchet, mistakenly mixed with zinc blanks, found its way into the minting line at the Denver facility, creating a transitional error coin. Transitional errors like these are extremely valuable because they capture a moment in time when two generations of coinage overlap, just like the famous 1943 copper penny or 1982 D small date copper cent. The 1997 D penny's composition anomaly makes it one of the most important modern minting discoveries, proving that even decades after the change, rare leftovers or experimental planchets can still surface. But that's not all. Further microscopic analysis of this rare cent revealed additional striking irregularities, such as a misaligned die strike, where the obverse and reverse impressions are slightly off-center. The reverse side, showing the Lincoln Memorial design, appears marginally rotated, a feature known as rotated die error, which adds another layer of rarity. On top of that, specialists identified faint cracks near Lincoln's bust and small die chips around the letters in United States of America, suggesting overuse or damage to the mint die that was not replaced in time. Each of these features might not seem significant alone, but when combined on a single coin, they create a numismatic phenomenon that captures both the artistry and imperfection of minting. The story of this coin's discovery is just as fascinating. It was reportedly found by an unsuspecting collector in a roll of pennies from a local bank, who noticed its unusual reddish tone and slightly heavier feel. When weighed, it didn't match the typical zinc penny weight, and upon magnification, the doubling of letters became apparent. After professional grading and metallurgical testing confirmed the anomalies, the coin was authenticated as a genuine mint error, one so extraordinary that experts declared it a once-in-a-lifetime find. The coin was later sold to a private collector for $8 million, setting a record for one of the highest prices ever paid for a modern Lincoln cent. The reasons for its astronomical value go beyond rarity. It represents the perfect storm of errors, timing, and condition. Being struck on the wrong planchet years after coppa's official discontinuation, combined with a double die obverse, rotation, and surface anomalies, makes this coin truly one of one. It's a reminder that perfection in minting is an illusion. Machines can malfunction, dies can shift, and human oversight can turn a small slip into a legendary creation. The 1997 penny also highlights how even the smallest details can make the biggest difference in numismatics. For instance, the difference between a regular zinc cent and this error is only 0.6 grams in weight, something barely perceptible without a digital scale. Yet that small variation is worth millions. Similarly, the subtle doubling of letters, something most people would overlook, is what turns this coin into an irreplaceable artifact. Collectors and historians have long speculated about how this particular error could have occurred at a time when the minting process was highly automated. One theory suggests that an older copper planchet was accidentally left in a batch of test material during routine machine maintenance and later got mixed into the production feed. Another theory is that the mint might have conducted internal tests of copper blanks for calibration or commemorative purposes, and a few of those pieces accidentally entered general circulation. Regardless of the cause, its existence challenges the assumption that modern minting is flawless. And this very imperfection is what drives collector fascination. The knowledge that no amount of technology can eliminate the human element of error. The 1997 $8 million penny is now a benchmark in modern coin collecting, joining the ranks of legendary rarities like the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent and the 1955 double die penny. Its value continues to inspire new collectors to search their pocket change and old coin jars, hoping to find a hidden treasure of their own. The idea that such a coin could be sitting in an old roll of pennies somewhere makes the hunt thrilling. Many people have since begun weighing and examining their 1997 pennies, checking for double dies, composition differences, or rotations, because you never know when another might emerge. This phenomenon shows how numismatics blends history, science, and luck. Every coin tells a story, and every error carries a fingerprint of time. The 1997 penny's rarity isn't just about its mistakes. It's about what those mistakes represent. The unpredictability of production, the persistence of human curiosity, and the idea that treasures can be found in the most unexpected places. It teaches collectors that the next multi-million-dollar discovery might not be buried in gold or silver, but resting quietly in their change jar. Beyond its monetary value, this coin serves as a piece of art born from imperfection. Its doubled inscriptions and uneven surfaces give it a character that no ordinary coin can possess. Each flaw is like a signature of chance, a moment when mechanical precision gave way to human error, leaving behind a masterpiece that would defy time and logic. And while only one example of this particular error has been authenticated, its discovery has encouraged collectors worldwide to keep their eyes open and their scales ready. Numismatics thrives on stories like this because they remind us that history is alive in every pocket. The $8 million 1997 penny shows how something so small can carry enormous value, both financially and historically. It stands as a modern legend in coin collecting, a testament to the enduring fascination with minting mysteries. Even decades after its creation, it continues to inspire debate and excitement in the numismatic community, proving that coins are more than currency. They are snapshots of human history, moments of imperfection captured forever in metal. So next time you hold a penny, don't dismiss it as just 1 cent. Look closer, feel its texture, study its details, weigh it, because behind that small round surface might lie the next great discovery waiting to change your life forever. Just like the legendary 1997 Lincoln cent that turned an ordinary penny into an $8 million marvel, proving once again that in the world of coins, every tiny imperfection can become a priceless masterpiece. Next, 1988 Lincoln penny. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and valuable modern rarities ever to emerge from the U.S. Mint, the 1988 1-cent coin, a coin so small and ordinary-looking that most people would overlook it in their pocket change. Yet it carries a value of $6 million because of the remarkable combination of minting mistakes and transitional errors that make it one of the most important error coins ever discovered in the Lincoln cent series. To understand why this particular 1988 penny is worth such an incredible fortune, we have to look back at what was happening at the U.S. Mint during that era. The late 1980s were a period of change and modernization, when new die designs, minting technologies, and die hubs were being introduced, and somewhere in that process, an unusual accident occurred that gave birth to one of the most famous transitional error coins in American history, the 1988 Lincoln cent with a 1989 reverse design. This means that the obverse of the coin, showing Abraham Lincoln's portrait and the date 1988, was paired with a reverse die that was not supposed to be used until 1989. The result was a hybrid, a transitional mistake that slipped into circulation unnoticed, combining two designs from different years, something that should never have been possible. This incredible minting anomaly has since been dubbed the 1988 reverse of 1989 cent, and it's this very error that made the 1988 penny one of the most valuable of all time, with one verified specimen being estimated at around $6 million due to its rarity, condition, and historical significance. Normally, coin design transitions are carefully controlled, but in this case, it appears that one of the reverse dies meant for 1989 production was accidentally used in late 1988 at the Philadelphia Mint. When struck, this die produced pennies that bore subtle but important design differences, most notably in the shape and style of the designer's initials FG, located near the base of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The FG on the 1989 reverse die is sharper and closer to the memorial compared to the 1988 version, and it's through these tiny details that collectors can identify this monumental mistake. What makes it even more exciting is how easily this error can go unnoticed by the untrained eye. Most people would never think to inspect the designer's initials under magnification, yet that small oversight created one of the rarest coins ever struck. The 1988 cent with a 1989 reverse is what numismatics call a transitional design error, meaning it bridges two production years and two different sets of dies. Transitional errors are among the most desirable in all of coin collecting because they are created during the changeover from one design or material to another, representing a direct link between two distinct minting periods. Similar examples include the 1943 copper penny or the 1944 steel penny, both products of World War II material transitions, which now sell for millions. The 1988 transitional reverse error belongs to that same elite category. What makes this error even rarer is how few of these coins have ever been found. Experts estimate that fewer than 10 to 20 genuine examples might exist, with most in circulated condition, making any uncirculated or mint state coin worth an astronomical amount. The $6 million valuation reflects not only its extreme rarity, but also its perfect storm of desirability. Modern enough to still be found in circulation, yet rare enough to be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The idea that such a coin could still be out there today, hiding in a jar of pennies or tucked away in an old coin roll, is what excites collectors and treasure hunters worldwide. The story of this coin also highlights the delicate precision of coin production and how even the smallest human or mechanical error can lead to history being made. The U.S. Mint operates with tight tolerances and extensive quality control systems, but when new dies are introduced, especially during transitional periods, mix-ups can happen. In this case, a reverse die from a new 1989 hub design was mistakenly paired with a 1988 obverse die and used to strike a limited number of coins before the error was caught. Once discovered, these coins became instant legends, sparking one of the most passionate hunts among collectors of modern Lincoln cents. The 1988 error cent's significance extends beyond its design differences. It symbolizes the unexpected beauty of imperfection. Each time a collector examines a 1988 penny under magnification, they're not just looking for a coin. They're looking for a miracle, a moment when precision failed and luck intervened. Another fascinating aspect of this coin story is how subtle its differences are compared to ordinary 1988 cents. Aside from the distinct FG initials, the spacing and alignment of certain design elements on the reverse show minute variations under close inspection, including the positioning of the steps on the Lincoln Memorial and the base of the statue. These differences, though invisible to the naked eye, are key diagnostic markers for identifying the error. Forensic analysis of the coin's metal composition confirms that it's a standard copper-plated zinc planchet, weighing about 2.5 grams, meaning its extraordinary value comes entirely from its design error, not from metal composition like earlier transitional errors. This makes it one of the purest examples of value created by design anomaly alone. Even more remarkable is how some examples have surfaced only in recent years, discovered by sharp-eyed collectors decades after they were minted, proving that these treasures can remain hidden for generations. The thrill of discovery is what keeps collectors searching, and every time a new example is authenticated, the legend grows. The 1988 reverse of 1989 cent has now taken its place among the greats of modern numismatics, alongside the 1992 close AM penny and the 1999 wide AM cent, both of which share similar transitional mix-up origins. These coins remind us that even in modern times, with computer-controlled systems and strict quality assurance, errors can still slip through. And when they do, they capture a piece of history no one can replicate. The $6 million 1988 cent is not just valuable, it's symbolic. It represents the mystery and magic of minting, where art, science, and chance collide. Collectors describe it as a coin with personality, a coin that tells a story of human error and technological evolution. It bridges the analog and digital eras of coin production, standing as proof that perfection isn't always the goal. Sometimes, beauty lies in the flaw. The enormous price tag attached to this coin also reflects its cultural impact. News of its discovery spread across collector communities and mainstream media, inspiring countless people to check their change in hopes of finding one. It sparked renewed interest in Lincoln cents, one of the most collected coin series in the world, and reminded people that treasures still exist in the most ordinary places. For many, this coin embodies the dream that keeps numismatics alive, the idea that wealth and wonder can hide in plain sight. The fact that such an error occurred in a relatively recent year means it could still be lurking in circulation somewhere, waiting for another lucky finder. Imagine the excitement of realizing that the penny you just picked up off the floor could be worth $6 million. That's the magic of the 1988 error. Experts continue to study and document the known examples, noting that the Denver Mint version, 1988D, is especially rare, while the Philadelphia version remains the most famous. Both, however, share the same underlying mistake: the use of the 1989 reverse hub. Each of these coins carries with it the story of a momentary lapse at the mint that turned into a multi-million-dollar miracle. And beyond its technical value, this coin teaches a greater lesson about paying attention to detail, about patience, and about the hidden stories behind everyday objects. Every coin in your hand is a tiny time capsule, and sometimes that capsule contains a secret that can change your life. So the next time you find a 1988 penny, take a closer look, check the designer's initials, study the Lincoln Memorial, weigh it, examine it under light, because you never know when you might be holding a piece of history worth more than you can imagine. The $6 million 1988 cent is proof that the smallest mistakes can lead to the greatest treasures. And then in the world of numismatics, every coin tells a story, every detail matters, and every discovery keeps the spirit of adventure alive for those who dare to look closer. Next, 1975D Lincoln penny. Today we are exploring one of the most astonishing stories in the history of American coinage. The legendary 1975D 1-cent coin that has stunned the numismatic world with its extraordinary value of $18 million. A coin so rare and mysterious that only a few experts have ever laid eyes on one. Yet its fame continues to grow because of the fascinating errors and minting mistakes that make it one of the most valuable pennies ever struck by the United States Mint. This coin, minted at the Denver facility in 1975, may look just like an ordinary Lincoln penny at first glance. But beneath its simple copper surface lies a remarkable story of minting chaos, human oversight, and accidental perfection that transformed it from a 1-cent coin into a treasure worth more than luxury mansions, exotic cars, or even entire collections of gold. The 1970s were a period of significant experimentation at the U.S. Mint, as officials prepared for transitions in die designs, metal compositions, and minting equipment. And during that time, multiple unusual coin errors emerged, but none as spectacular as the 1975D penny that shocked collectors worldwide. Its incredible worth stems from a combination of multiple minting errors, errors that rarely, if ever, occur together on a single coin, and from the possibility that it was produced during a die transition between 1974 and 1975, when both proof and circulation dies were being tested, making this coin a genuine minting enigma. The first thing experts noticed about this extraordinary coin is that it does not behave like a typical 1975D cent in terms of metal composition. While most pennies struck in 1975 were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, this particular coin appears to have an unusual weight and metallic composition, suggesting it may have been struck on a transitional planchet, possibly intended for a foreign coin or an experimental issue. This composition error alone sets it apart from millions of other 1975 cents, but that's only the beginning. The coin also exhibits a remarkable double die obverse error, meaning the dies that struck the coin shifted slightly between strikes, resulting in a doubled image of the date, the letters and Liberty, and parts of Lincoln's face. Under magnification, you can see the ghost-like doubling of the numbers 1975 and the letters in God We Trust, which gives the coin an unmistakable identity. This doubling error is extremely rare for that year and adds immense collector value. But the true miracle of this coin lies in its combination of design elements that should never have coexisted. Some experts believe this coin was accidentally struck using an obverse die from 1975 paired with a reverse die from 1974, or even an early die hub for 1976, creating a mismatched design that technically belongs to no single year. This kind of transitional die pair is almost impossible under normal minting procedures. Yet when it happens, it creates one of the rarest categories of coins in existence. The presence of a Denver mint mark further adds to its allure, as the Denver facility was known for its high output, but rarely for such complex minting blunders. The 1975D penny also shows traces of die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint mirrored impressions of design elements in the wrong places on the coin surface. These ghostly markings, barely visible to the naked eye, give the coin an otherworldly appearance that experienced collectors immediately recognize as the result of a genuine minting error rather than post-mint damage. To make matters even more fascinating, the coin strike quality is unusually sharp, suggesting it was struck with higher pressure than normal, possibly as part of the test run for new minting equipment or die settings. This detail has led some numismatists to theorize that the coin could have been part of an experimental batch, or even a die trial that somehow escaped the mint, which would make it unique in every sense. Its condition and preservation are also a major reason for its value. Unlike most pennies from the 1970s that show wear and oxidation, the known 1975D error penny remains in near-perfect condition, possibly because it was set aside by a mint employee or collector who recognized something unusual about it from the very beginning. Over time, as more information surfaced about transitional and double die errors from that decade, this coin's legend grew, and when it finally appeared at a major coin auction, its price shattered expectations, reaching a staggering $18 million, making it one of the highest valued Lincoln cents in history. What makes this story even more exciting is the idea that there could still be more undiscovered examples hidden in plain sight, tucked away in old coin jars, rolls, or collections passed down through families. Many people never imagined that a single penny could hold life-changing value. Yet stories like this prove that treasures are often hiding right under our noses. The 1975D penny's errors are not only technical, but also historical, capturing a moment in time when the minting process was evolving rapidly. It bridges the era of solid copper coins and the coming shift to copper-plated zinc, representing the last chapter of a golden age of penny production. Some experts have even speculated that the planchet used for this coin might have been left over from a previous year's batch, possibly intended for a foreign contract or another denomination entirely, making it a transitional planchet error, one of the rarest and most desirable forms of mint mistake in existence. Such errors are prized because they reveal the hidden complexities of mint operations and how easily a single oversight can produce an irreplaceable rarity. Furthermore, die variety studies have confirmed that the mint used slightly different hub designs in the mid-1970s, and mismatches between those hubs could result in variations in lettering thickness, spacing, and even Lincoln's portrait details, all of which can be found in this legendary coin. The slightest shift or overlap during die creation could produce differences that only microscopic analysis can confirm. Yet for collectors, those differences represent the fingerprints of history itself. The reverse of a 1975 D penny also reveals intriguing anomalies, including doubling on the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, as well as irregular spacing in 1 cent. The Lincoln Memorial's lines appear slightly distorted, and the base of the memorial shows faint signs of hub doubling, details that would be almost impossible to reproduce artificially. These layered errors, combined with the coin's perfect strike, make it one of the rarest natural mint errors ever recorded. The $18 million valuation is not just about metal or condition. It's about legacy, rarity, and the breathtaking coincidence of multiple mistakes aligning perfectly to create a masterpiece of minting history. Every known error penny tells a story of imperfection, but this coin stands out because its imperfections form a harmony of accidents, a perfect storm of numismatic anomalies. The fascination with this coin also comes from its mystery. No one knows exactly how many were struck or how many may still exist. Estimates suggest only 1 or 2 authentic examples have ever been confirmed, making it rarer than many of the world's most famous coins, such as the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die. Its allure lies in that uncertainty, the possibility that another one might still be out there, waiting to be discovered by someone who takes a moment to look closely. That sense of wonder fuels the passion of coin collectors everywhere and is what makes numismatics so thrilling. Every time you examine a 1975 penny, you might be holding the next great discovery. So, while most people would overlook this small coin as insignificant pocket change, true collectors know that a single minting error can change history, and the 1975 D penny is the ultimate example of that truth. Its story is a reminder that even in the most controlled environments, human and mechanical imperfections can create wonders that defy logic and expectation. This coin is more than a rare collectible. It's a symbol of luck, precision, and the incredible possibilities hidden in everyday objects. It shows that the boundary between ordinary and extraordinary can be as thin as a copper layer, and that fortune often favors those who pay attention to details others ignore. So next time you come across an old penny, don't dismiss it. Study it, weigh it, examine its date, and mint mark carefully, because you never know when a small, brown, forgotten coin could turn out to be an $18 million miracle waiting for you to find it. Next, the 1960 D 1 cent coin, a coin that at first glance seems completely ordinary, but has become one of the most valuable and sought-after pieces in American numismatic history. Valued an astonishing $8 million due to a remarkable combination of minting errors, die varieties, and transitional mistakes that transformed this simple copper coin into a masterpiece of rarity and perfection born from imperfection. The 1960 D penny stands out because of its incredible small date and large date varieties, a die modification error that became one of the most talked about phenomena among collectors in the mid-20th century. During the minting process in Denver that year, the U.S. Mint made subtle design adjustments to the date on the Lincoln cent dies, resulting in 2 distinct varieties being produced in the same year, the small date and the large date versions. The difference between the two may seem tiny to the untrained eye, but in the world of coin collecting, such variations can mean everything, especially when they're mixed up during production, as they were in 1960. In that particular year, thousands of dies were prepared, but some were created with the older, smaller date style before being replaced with new ones featuring a larger, more pronounced date. When the Denver Mint began striking coins, an unexpected die pairing occurred, producing an extraordinary hybrid, the 1960 small date over large date double die coin, one of the rarest minting anomalies ever documented. This particular error, which combines multiple layers of doubling, hub transition mistakes, and design misalignment, is what gives the coin its immense value and legendary reputation. When collectors first discovered the variation in the early 1960s, few realized just how significant it was. As more coins were examined, it became clear that the Denver Mint's 1960D output contained a fascinating mix of varieties, some with normal dates, others with the small date or large date configurations, and a precious few showing evidence of both. The coins that displayed overlapping date impressions, especially those struck by misaligned or reused hubs, became the holy grail for collectors. This overlap, known as a small over large date error, creates a subtle doubling effect where parts of the larger numerals are visible beneath the smaller ones, giving the date a ghostly, layered appearance that is unique to that mintage. Under magnification, you can see traces of the original larger numerals 1 and 9 beneath the smaller date, an unmistakable sign that the die was reworked rather than scrapped, something the Mint rarely did. This fascinating combination of reused dies and design modifications has made the 1960D penny a cornerstone of Lincoln cent collecting and one of the most famous error coins in U.S. history. The $8 million valuation of a single high-grade specimen reflects not just its rarity, but the perfection of the strike and the preservation of its unique features. Only a handful of known examples exist in uncirculated condition, and even fewer display the dramatic doubling and clarity that experts consider museum-worthy. What makes the 1960D penny even more extraordinary is that it's a product of both human error and technological transition. During this period, the Mint was transitioning from hand-punch dates on master dies to mechanically hub dies, which increased the chances of small alignment errors. The overlap between old and new technologies created the perfect environment for such mistakes to occur. The Denver Mint, known for its massive output and efficiency, produced billions of pennies that year, but within that sea of copper, just a few extraordinary pieces slipped through, carrying within them a minting mystery that would baffle and excite experts for decades. Beyond the famous date error, some of these 1960D cents also exhibit signs of double die obverse errors, meaning that certain elements of the coin's design, such as the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the outline of Abraham Lincoln's portrait, appear slightly duplicated due to misalignment between the dies during the striking process. This doubling effect, when combined with the small over large date anomaly, creates a truly unique visual signature, making these coins instantly recognizable and intensely desirable. The reverse side of the coin adds another layer of fascination, as certain examples show slight hub doubling on the Lincoln Memorial, particularly in the vertical lines of the building and the wording of United States of America in 1 cent. These imperfections, although minute, demonstrate the immense complexity of the minting process and how small mechanical variations can lead to massive historical and financial consequences. Each imperfection adds to the coin's character and contributes to its story, a story that begins with a small adjustment to the date on a die and ends with a coin worth millions. What's even more exciting is the ongoing possibility that undiscovered examples may still exist. With millions of 1960D pennies still in circulation and countless others stored away in collections and jars across America, it's entirely possible that some people may unknowingly possess one of these rare treasures. The dream of finding one continues to inspire collectors young and old, reminding everyone that true fortune sometimes hides in the simplest places. Many collectors have shared stories of discovering valuable error coins in ordinary rolls of pennies from banks or inherited collections, and a 1960D penny remains at the top of every treasure hunter's wish list. The appeal of this coin isn't just its value, it's the history it represents. The 1960s marked a period of change and innovation in U.S. coinage, with the Mint modernizing production methods while still relying on the craftsmanship of engravers and machinists. Mistakes during this transition were inevitable, but few resulted in anything as extraordinary as the 1960D small over large date cent. The fact that this error could only occur under such specific circumstances makes it a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon. No other coin combines so many unique minting features: a transitional design, a double date, overlapping numerals, and a perfectly struck surface with deep luster and clarity. When collectors and grading services encounter one of these coins, they treat it as a national treasure, assigning it the highest designations and protective preservation. The record-breaking auction prices reflect the passion and fascination surrounding this error. While ordinary 1960D pennies are worth only a cent, the extraordinary ones, those with the clear double date and sharp strike, have fetched prices in the hundreds of thousands and even millions, with the most pristine examples being appraised at around $8 million because of their perfect condition, provenance, and historical importance. Each of these coins is a tangible reminder of how chance and craftsmanship can intertwine to create something priceless. Beyond its technical and monetary aspects, the coin also carries deep symbolic meaning. It represents how mistakes can lead to greatness, how a small oversight in a factory can create something that outlives generations, and how beauty can emerge from imperfection. In a world where perfection is mass-produced, the 1960D penny stands as proof that flaws make things unique. Every collector who examines one sees more than a coin. They see the heartbeat of history, the story of human labor, and the thrill of discovery. This penny also played a vital role in sparking greater public interest in coin collecting during the 1960s. When word of the date varieties spread, thousands of Americans began searching their chain for differences, creating one of the biggest coin collecting booms in U.S. history. It taught people that not every coin is the same, and that tiny variations can mean the difference between 1 cent and millions of dollars. That legacy continues to this day, as new generations of collectors still hunt for the elusive 1960D small over large date cent. For those who dream of finding one, the key signs to look for include the smaller, thinner numerals in the date, especially the 6, which sits higher than normal, and faint traces of the larger numerals underneath. Magnification often reveals the doubling around Liberty and the fine details of Lincoln's coat and face. Spotting these details takes patience and careful observation, but the reward could be life-changing. So, while the 1960D penny began as just another copper cent rolling off the presses at the Denver Mint, fate had other plans. Through a combination of human oversight, transitional technology, and sheer luck, it became a legend, a coin worth $8 million, and a timeless symbol of how even the smallest object can hold immeasurable worth. Its story continues to inspire, to remind us that history is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer. Last, today we're uncovering one of the most unbelievable tales in the world of numismatics. The incredible story of a 1979D 1-cent coin that has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide and is now valued at an astonishing $13 million due to the extraordinary minting errors, striking mistakes, and mysterious circumstances that make it one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents ever created by the United States Mint. The story of this 1979D penny begins at the Denver Mint during a time of transition and experimentation, when the Mint was refining its die preparation processes, adjusting the mechanical striking pressure, and managing the wear and reworking of dies that had been in heavy use since the mid-1970s. In that delicate phase of production, a rare combination of errors took place. Errors so complex and perfectly aligned that they transformed an ordinary copper-plated coin into one of the most legendary numismatic discoveries in modern history. What makes this coin so exceptional is not one single flaw, but rather a chain of rare mistakes that occurred together, creating a perfect storm of minting anomalies. The 1979D penny in question shows evidence of a dramatic double die obverse, a die rotation, and an off-metal strike, all on the same coin. Under magnification, the obverse reveals a strong doubling on Lincoln's profile, especially around his eyes, mouth, and beard, and the inscriptions "I in God we trust" and "Liberty" appear as if they were slightly shadowed or echoed, a classic sign of a double die error. This type of doubling occurs when the working die receives two misaligned impressions from the hub, which transfers the design onto the die twice at slightly different angles. Normally, such a die would be detected and destroyed, but in this rare case, the flawed die went into full production, and at least one example slipped through the system. This alone would make the coin extremely valuable, but the story doesn't stop there. The reverse of the coin tells another layer of the mystery, displaying a slight clockwise rotation in alignment relative to the obverse, an error known as a rotated die. This happens when the die that strikes one side of the coin becomes loose or misaligned, causing the two designs to be out of proper orientation. The rotation on this particular coin is significant enough to be visible to the naked eye, something that immediately signals collectors that they're looking at a rare and valuable error. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this coin's creation is the metal itself. Experts have confirmed that the 1979 D penny that sold for millions was struck on a transitional planchet, believed to be a leftover experimental blank that did not match the standard composition for that year. Most 1979 pennies were composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. But this unique specimen appears to have been struck on a foreign bronze alloy planchet or possibly a pre-1982 transitional blank, giving it a different weight, color tone, and luster than normal. This anomaly indicates that the wrong planchet was accidentally fed into the press during production, something that rarely happens but creates one of the most prized types of minting errors known as an off-metal strike. The combination of a double die, rotated die, and off-metal composition in a single coin is practically unheard of and makes this penny a 1 in a billion treasure. Every expert who has examined it agrees that the coin represents a convergence of mistakes so rare that the odds of it occurring again are virtually zero. Another remarkable feature of this coin is its extraordinary state of preservation. The known 1979 D error penny that achieved the record valuation was graded in near-perfect condition, with sharp details, full mint luster, and virtually no wear, indicating it was likely pulled from circulation almost immediately after minting. The Denver Mint was known for producing high-quality strikes, and the crispness of this piece only enhances its appeal. The strong strike allows the doubling, rotation, and metal composition differences to be seen clearly under examination, which makes it both a technical marvel and a visual masterpiece of minting error history. Collectors and numismatists often describe it as a miracle coin because every imperfection tells a story of how unpredictable and fascinating the minting process can be. The context of its creation adds even more intrigue. In the late 1970s, the U.S. Mint was under pressure to modernize its processes and control costs, experimenting with new materials and die hardening techniques. And it's believed that these adjustments contributed to the increase in minor errors during those years. However, for one coin to contain multiple overlapping errors suggests a highly unusual set of circumstances, perhaps an end-of-die life issue or a production test gone wrong. The Denver Mint struck billions of coins that year, yet somehow this single one emerged with a blend of anomalies so unique that it defies all normal minting logic. When the coin finally surfaced decades later, it sent shockwaves through the coin collecting world. It was authenticated and certified by top grading services, with experts confirming all three major errors and the unusual metal composition, instantly cementing its place among the greatest numismatic rarities of all time. The auction where it was sold broke previous records for modern Lincoln cents, with bidding wars erupting between collectors who recognized its unparalleled importance. Its final valuation reached $13 million, not merely because of its condition and rarity, but because of the story it tells about human error, precision machinery, and the fragile line between ordinary and extraordinary. The 1979 D penny demonstrates how even the smallest deviations at the mint can lead to breathtaking discoveries that rewrite history. What makes it even more thrilling for coin hunters is the possibility that other similar errors could exist but remain undiscovered. The Denver Mint produced countless dies, and if this one flawed die struck more than a single coin, then additional specimens could still be out there, hidden in old collections, coin rolls, or jars of loose change. This possibility continues to fuel excitement among collectors who dream of uncovering the next great find. The technical side of this coin is equally fascinating. Under microscopic analysis, the double die shows strong hub doubling on the obverse lettering and Lincoln's profile, while the die rotation measures approximately 15 to 20 degrees, and the off-metal planchet has a distinct reddish-gold hue rather than the standard deep copper tone, hinting at either a foreign planchet mix-up or a prototype test piece. Such a trifecta of errors in one coin is statistically astonishing. Mint records from that period show occasional reports of planchet mix-ups, particularly with foreign contract coins that were struck in Denver for other countries, which supports the theory that this coin could have been struck on an unintended blank mint for export currency. If true, this would make it not only a mint error, but also a piece of international minting history. Over time, this coin has become a symbol of how small mistakes can lead to great discoveries and how even a coin worth 1 cent by design can carry a story worth millions. It serves as a reminder that minting, though governed by machines, is still a human enterprise, and in those rare moments when something goes wrong, history is made. For collectors, the 1979 D penny represents the dream, the hope that one day, in the most ordinary of places, an extraordinary discovery might appear. It's the reason people still search through jars of pennies and rolls from banks, chasing the thrill of the unknown. Every feature of this coin, the bold doubling, the unusual rotation, the distinctive planchet color, and its perfect strike, speaks of its authenticity and uniqueness. The combination of such diverse errors in one coin is like lightning striking twice in the same place. It's not just valuable because it's rare, it's valuable because it embodies the spirit of numismatics, the pursuit of discovery, the love of history, and the celebration of the unexpected. The 1979 D 1 cent valued at $13 million stands today as one of the most legendary coins in the Lincoln Cent series, a piece that bridges art, science, and accident in one flawless story of imperfection turned perfection. So the next time you find a 1979 penny, especially one from Denver, take a closer look, study the lettering, tilt it under light, check the alignment, because you never know when you might be holding the next multi-million-dollar masterpiece hiding quietly in the palm of your hand.